Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, Rat Salad Review Network has plenty of shows to choose from. Like Rat Salad Review, where they discuss the latest rock and metal news, as well as interviews and albums. Album vs. Album, the King Diamond Podcast, with Wayne Noon, Greg Noggle, and sometimes this guy.
Smack 'em a gob!
Ralph Vieira is also on our network with the Vieira Vault. There's also Old Man Metal's Musings, where he discusses heavy metal and beer. Music is Life with Lou Mavs. The Right Opinion for those who love politics. A South Park podcast called Suck My Balls. The Infinite Fringe, a watch-along wrestling show called Beyond Bushido. Ex-Stradivarius guitarist, the Timo Tolkki podcast. And the Great Harry Barnett with I Don't Even Like Podcasts. So check out ratsaladreview.com or search Rat Salad Review on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. All right, side 2 of The Eye. We are back this week with Lisa Mann and the missing Ralph Vieira, just taking a leak for a minute, and Greg Noggle, and me.
Yes.
I didn't introduce us on the first episode, but that's okay. Doesn't matter.
I would
Everybody should know
hope
us by
they
now.
know who we are.
I think so. And I also put our names underneath the thing, too, so whatever. But we are on side 2 of The Eye, and the first song is Father Picard. Or should I call it Father Prickard?
Ha!
A new chaplain has arrived. Should I not quit my day job?
Yeah.
A new chaplain has arrived, and he makes it known he's taking over, and things will be different. He tells Madeline and 3 other nuns God has chosen them to be his angels in white. He has them drink his holy wine, which he has drugged, and Father Prickard is now in control of their minds. Great track, great opening for side 2. I love this song. Another good song, and I like some of the songs. Wait, what? I wrote this like weeks ago, so I forgot what I fucking wrote here. Some of these songs I think can work on its own. Oh, I get what I'm saying now. Like on some of the previous albums, like actually on Conspiracy, I think a lot of those songs could have done fine on their own. Doesn't really need to go with a story. And I feel this album is kind of like the same way. You can listen to these songs on their own. You don't need to listen to them.
It doesn't feel like a concept album to me.
No, it doesn't. That's why I feel
why.
you can listen to these songs in any
That's
order
why
you
I
want.
didn't think it was. I thought it was just like some historic piece, but he threw in the little necklace. You know, that part's fiction, obviously, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. I mean, that'd be pretty cool if there was a real necklace out there that could look up the past.
I want one of those. You know, I've seen people online that have those.
I've been asking somebody to make one because he knows somebody who could make it. What's going on with my necklace?
Well, she's working on it, but, that's also pro bono, and then the coronavirus happened, so she's focusing on stuff that makes her money. But she's doing it.
All right.
It
looks good so far. It looks good.
Yeah. This song actually is different, don't you think? That riff
it changed up the album a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Pete Black. I guarantee you, Pete Black came up with that riff. It doesn't sound like anything else that's on any King Diamond album to me. That first guitar riff. And it's kind of cool because he co-wrote the song. It's kind of like Yannick Gers and Iron Maiden. When he writes Iron Maiden, it sounds like Iron Maiden. It sounds a little different, but it still sounds like Iron Maiden. And it's the same thing with Pete Black. He's writing with King Diamond. It's different, but you go, no, it fits. It works. Totally works. I liked it.
Oh, no.
Great bass blend.
That Pete Black double picking palm mute, it reminds me a lot of what Jakey Lee did in Waiting for Darkness on Bark of the Moon. I love that sound. That sounds so fucking cool, you know? The song, I'm going to tell you, man, it's not like one of my favorites on here, but that Pete Black does is unbelievable. It's a good song, don't get me wrong, but you know what came before I like more. But I love what Pete Black, like, to me, owns this song.
Yeah, he does. I love the solo on this too.
Yeah.
I like the bass playing. I think the bass playing on this whole record is out of sight.
Oh yeah.
You know? I think both of those guys got canned after this. Didn't they get canned soon after? I don't know.
Yes, I brought
they
that up on the
came
first
in and
episode.
out. They came in and out. Yeah.
Actually, Snowy talks about why. Actually, Snowy was supposed to be on the next album, and then he'll talk about it on the episode, but things got messed up.
It's a bloodbath.
Yeah. Next song, Behind These Walls. He actually brought this back into the set recently on his last.
Love this song.
I love this song. Yes.
Especially the Munsters like keyboards.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Madeline is alone in the garden. She can't see the other nuns or hear the birds sing. She remembers screams in the night and moaning coming from below the prison cell, but she doesn't understand what's going on and wonders if Father Picard is a friend. Oh, damn it, did it again. They recently brought this song back into the set list, which I just said. Pretty much an upbeat track. I really like this song. It's one of my favorites off this album. I like the keyboard intro, like we just talked about. The lyrics are catchy, and there's a really great guitar solo at the end of this song, which is another catchy and memorable on its own. And again, I think this song works on its own, just like every other song on this album.
King's voice on this, on the whole album, but on this track in particular, really swells and rolls with the guitar lines really great.
Yeah.
It's almost like a study in melodic detail.
It kind of reminds me of Halloween, this song.
Yeah.
It's got
I can hear that.
It's got a great beat. You can dance to it.
I was shocked when he played this the last time I saw him. It was the second song on the set list. I did not expect that at all. Yeah. It was right after he did the Candle, and he went right into this. And it's always been one of my favorites off the sound, probably my second favorite. So it was such a welcome surprise. And, just that opening little keyboard thing. I was like, what the hell? He's playing behind the wall? Because I'm not one of these people that look at set lists before I go to a show.
Yeah. It ruins the show.
Yeah, and I was like, it wasn't the most surprising song that night. The most surprising song for me was The Lake. Because that's a damn beat.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
But
one of the best.
Oh, yeah. But, he ended up playing. He didn't play Eye of the Witch that night, though. But he played Burn and this. So he at least did 2 songs from this album, which was cool. Love it. I love this song. My second favorite, I would say.
Yeah, it's an awesome song.
This is the one that reminds me the most of Blue Oyster Cult, too.
Why? Because of the keyboards?
The keyboards, the lyrics, the way he does his vocals on this, the Blue Oyster Cult during their black and white period, and even when they started to get real big hits, all 5 of them could sing, and Sandy Pearlman produced it in such a way where they all sounded great melodically, and it was very layered. And
yeah, that's why Ghost gets blamed a lot to sound like King Diamond, because they heard behind these walls. To me, Ghost sounds more like Blue Oyster Cult than King Diamond. Merciful Fate.
Yes.
Any day. I get.
They do. He sounds like he heard Tyranny and Mutation and thought it was the best idea ever, and then has just riffed on that album for the past 10 years.
Yeah, I don't hear King Diamond. I don't hear Merciful Fate, but I guess I hear Behind the Walls in Ghost.
I do. There is more Merciful Fate on the first Ghost album than there is on any other album.
Yeah,
though.
I'd say so.
I gotta hear listen. That was my favorite for a while. The first one.
Yeah.
Or half diminished scales.
And you people that like King Diamond but don't like Ghost, you're nuts.
I support you.
Yeah,
I love me
not
some
like
Ghost.
either.
Everybody
I
I
love
know
me
hates
some Ghost.
I know, and I don't get it. I don't know.
I'm
I mean, I guess I
obsessed-
get it because you know what it is. They get lumped into metal, and they're not really metal at all.
No, they're not. They're
No,
not.
it's theatrical rock. It's more
Right.
like Alice Cooper, you know. You got to think of it more like an Alice Cooper theatrical rock kind of deal.
Right.
They remind me of old Genesis and stuff to me. So, you know.
Right. It
Kinda
reminds you
prog-
of a lot of stuff, but it lacks originality, which is why I don't like
I
them.
don't think so.
There's a lot of originality with Ghost, believe me. But this show is not about Ghost.
They said the same thing about Guns N' Roses. Speaking of Zero to Hero.
Yeah, this ain't about Ghost, man. This is about Born Again.
Yeah, that's right.
Another favorite song of mine, The Meetings. Picard uses a group of nuns, including Madeline, to ritually torture and kill children. I didn't realize
Why?
what the song was about.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? I don't.
7 figures walk the streets. Picard is one and 2 are the priests. They bring a child who cries, "Someone here will die." Madeline and the other nuns hold the infant up to the cross. Hold the infant up at the altar. Oh my God! Up to the altar at the cross. Thank you. Father Picard and the priest come with a hammer and nails. What is his freaking obsession with hammer and nails?
And children.
And
They're
children?
Catholic, dude. They literally nailed people to crosses.
No, I
Come
understand that. But what is King nailed Abigail with nails?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah. Now he's nailing babies with hammers and nails in this thing, and
Sounds like a Serbian film.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
But yeah, so anyway, they come with hammers and nails, and I think we know where it goes from there. First off, I don't know what the I just said that. I don't know what the obsession is. Has he changed his tune though since he's had his child? I haven't heard any nails and hammers and.
Don't be nailing my kid now. Don't you all get any ideas from me?
No, and shit on the last album, he started talking about his cats and what else was it? Butterflies and shit on the last album. Anyway, I like this song. It's a bit different from the rest of the songs. It's more progressive, I think, than the rest of the other songs are or have been. No.
You know, it's clever, but I don't think it's a memorable tune. I think it rocks.
Really?
I think it's some clever, like off times, kind of, odd time signature stuff. The solo section is cool, but to me, I don't walk down the street and have this song pop into my head. I just don't. I don't think it's very memorable, and to me, it's kind of filler. But that's just me.
I agree. This is the only one on the record that I feel is slightly subpar. It's just it's not as catchy as everything else.
So I like how the chorus. I like how it
there's
slows down for the
isolated
chorus part.
parts that are really cool. Like Lisa was saying, especially with the weird time signatures, they really get into some different shit on this. But it doesn't play well on its own. I have to hear it as part of the album, or it doesn't work for me. I still like it, but it's definitely my least favorite from the record.
Well, before I talk about this song, I think the next King Diamond album he's gonna talk a lot about heart surgery and fucking over Michael Denner. As far as this song, yeah, I listening to it today, I was like, yeah, this is a filler tune, but for some reason, I really like this one. I can't put my finger on why I like it. It just has this vibe that hooks me, especially when it kicks into the fast gear toward the last 40 to 30 seconds of the song. It's like my favorite part. I don't mind it, but yes, I can tell it's filler. Yeah. Probably never played live.
No, probably not. I like how it just does so many different things. So it feels like 3 different songs almost, in a way. You know, when the chorus slows down and then it gets fast, whatever. It's a good song. I like it. Insanity. Nice instrumental. I think this is one of my favorite King Diamond instrumentals. You can feel a lot of different moods in this song, like especially when it slows down again. It almost makes you feel like things are almost uncertain on how things are going to end up turning out at the end of this album. Just this song gives a lot of emotion in it, I think. For being an instrumental.
Yeah, it's like the perfect description of someone's mind breaking, though. Like it just, you can feel her passing into insanity.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And it's just, this is my favorite song on the record.
Your favorite song?
Wow. Yeah.
Really?
Dude, I mean, the guitar lines just ring, and they're so great on this and so well thought out, and his picking is just amazing. And the acoustic guitar reminds me of the first time I heard Robbo on Soldier of Fortune on Thin Lizzy's Bad Reputation. It's that good.
Kind of Led Zeppelin. It almost sounds like something kind of Rush, a little bit like something on one of those mellow Rush tunes. That acoustic guitar, something Alex Lifeson might come up with.
Yeah, that Brunsbane.
Reminds me a lot of Buck from Blue Oyster Cult on Perfect Water, actually.
God, I don't remember that one.
No, I think it's a beautifully constructed instrumental piece. It's all Andy, right?
I believe.
Yeah, he wrote it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. It does have like a main theme, but then toward the end it goes into some kind of like wavy little, interludes that make it very extremely interesting. So, even though I'm surprised it's your favorite, now I think about it, I don't blame you because it is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's like a hidden nugget of gold towards the end of the record.
It's guitar-rific.
That's right. Zappa would approve.
1642 imprisonment. Father Picard dies in 1642. All are arrested and imprisoned, including the nuns who confessed to diabolical possession, and even Madeline, who died in 1647 in prison. Again, another song I like. It's catchy and ends the story with the convent. Ends the story with the convent really well. It's a good song.
Meh.
Okay.
Meh. Meh.
I like what King does vocally when he's not hitting the falsetto, like sacrifice. He's kind of different from him. And I do like it. The metallic riffs, great tightness with the band on this track. But again, it's not one of my favorites, but I really like this album as a whole. I think all the songs are great, but I would put many above this song, but still a good song.
To me, it sounds like a generic Ozzy tune. To me, there's something kind of generic sounding about a lot of it. So I think the chorus is catchy, but I don't know. It just is a little more fillery to me. So that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I really like the solo on this one, though. It's one of my favorites.
There's really no bad solos on this album.
No.
Yeah.
This whole album just got really good solo after solo.
But when they play the solo on here and he's doing the different variances with his vocals, it just fits together amazing.
Yeah, decent song. And the final song, The Curse. This basically talks about how the curse of the eye will send you back in time. Another song really has no lyrics to it, and he repeats the chorus almost similar to The Eye of the Witch. And I wrote that in my thing here. Just chorus, but it's cool ending musically, lyrically, and brings the album full circle to me.
I think it's an awesome track that brings us out to a close. Great structure that plays along with the keyboards. The way King sings. He's pretty much singing the riffs, and musically perfect. I love how he sings along to the riffs pretty much all the way through till it speeds up. And even gets better to me at that point. And I love that the power I get from the chain is mine. Good shit. Great ending. Great ending.
Yeah.
I'm not as crazy about this song. I think the unison thing bothers me, and a lot of times it bothers me because it seems like somebody ran out of ideas. It's like, here's this riff, and I can't think of anything to go with it. Okay, so let's all go with it. But I'm glad they all made the decision to have everybody go with it. That kind of beefs it up and makes it a little stronger. But I don't know. To me, again, this is another song that just I don't think is that memorable. I mean, there's some kick-ass moments in it, but to me, it's just, it's not something that's going to pop in my head while I'm, chopping broccoli or something.
Fair enough.
Why broccoli?
Chopping broccoli. I like broccoli.
So do I.
It's a superfood.
I love broccoli.
Especially
broccoli's great.
Let's do a show about broccoli.
After we're done with this King Diamond podcast, we're doing a whole show about broccoli.
Broccoli and Born Again.
Yeah.
You should do a picture of the album cover with a piece of broccoli instead of the little baby.
Yeah, the baby.
That's what he's holding. Hold a piece of broccoli.
I had a broccoli in his hand.
Broccoli again.
Broccoli again.
Greg.
Who's got Photoshop?
We all
Come on, you gotta do it.
Big piece of broccoli with fangs. That would be amazing.
It'll be done by later tonight. Greg, what do you think about The Curse?
It's a good song. Not quite as memorable as some of the other, but it kind of repeats the feel of the opening track, Eye of the Witch, a little bit. That's a good closer in that respect.
Yeah. Not a mind-blowing closer.
Still sounds really good, but it's, just kind of there. There's not a lot that stands out about it.
Yeah. But I guess that is it with The Eye. So as a whole, it's a pretty good album. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. I dig it. My fourth favorite King Diamond album.
Fourth favorite. Wow. You know what? I never even thought to rank them. I'll have to do that when we're at the end of this and really rank and see what I like better.
Second favorite for me. Like I said, I can see why some people don't like it a little bit because it's a little more relaxed, a little less complicated than the previous three. But I think it's better for those reasons because it's more in the spirit.
It's funny you say less complicated because the reason why they use the electronic drums is because when King did the album, they used a drum machine because the patterns were so complicated.
Well, I suppose I mean less progressive.
Well, there's an interview with King where he denies it's drum machine. Said it was electric pad.
Yeah, it could be triggers.
No, it was
I don't
Snowy.
know.
On the interview, we got
the deal?
Snowy.
Yeah, okay.
Snowy definitely
I gotta
talked
watch
about
that. And I didn't catch up on it.
It's a really cool interview. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it was Messiah from Candlemass said it was drum machine, and they said this to King. And King, it's a weird interview. He's sitting on a bed in a hotel, and he's like, "What? I did not. That's not drum machine. That's that's played on electric pad. There's no drum machine on that album."
No, but it is electric drums. Snowy does reveal that.
Yeah.
I will give everybody a heads up for that. But it is a very cool interview, and maybe actually that might be on this episode. I think last week I said it's going to be on the other one. It's on this one. Snowy's on this one. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us on this episode of The Eye. If you haven't heard the album, go check it out now. And
buy it now.
Yeah, go buy it now. Go buy all the albums. Actually, all the albums are being re-released right now.
I just ordered them because I hate.
They're not remastering, are they?
Yeah, I hate my them vinyl because pretty much the whole album's on one side, and it ends with like one song, and then a bunch of those pointless what is that rehearsal shit?
Yeah.
I hate that. It's like
they make no sense.
So I got they just re-released it where it's properly. I think it's Bye Bye Missy starts side 2 or Mother's Getting Weaker. So out of all of them, I bought just that one because I'm just so bothered by. I've never owned them on vinyl ever. I bought it when it was brand new on CD, and then I ended up buying that version, and it just bothers me how they just pretty much put the whole album on side 1. And then
That's weird. Because how the hell they must have how the hell they do that?
Press the hell out of it,
I guess because
bonus
that's not
content.
Show
It's the record companies. You know, they want bonus content, and when you're adding bonus content to vinyl, you're actually lowering the quality of the sound of the vinyl because you can't dig the grooves so deep. So you know,
and it just ruins it. It ruins the initial vision. You know?
I don't understand why record companies do that shit. I don't like it either.
I want it how it came out. I want it like my CD. I don't want no repeat songs afterwards that sound like shit too. It's rehearsals.
Yeah.
I don't think there's even vocals on them. It's like
no, there isn't.
It's just bonus content. It's a bonus. And it's like, just release that separately. If we're interested in it, we'll get it. But it's record company bullshit.
Yeah.
And actually, Rav, you said that album that you had of them was lower than your other ones, right? Sounds like
yes. Yeah. I mean, I turned my stereo up all the way, and it still wasn't loud enough for that album.
It's because they shoved all those songs on there.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Stupid.
Well, nobody buy the new ones.
Even though, I mean, I suppose you can make the case that it's a little inconvenient, but some of the best sounding albums I went out of my way to get are the 45 RPM series of the first couple Slayer and Megadeth albums where they're split between 2 LPs, but you will never hear that shit sound better. I mean, the beginning to Hell Awaits literally sounds like Satan's at your front door.
I like to plug my buddy's store. It's called Miami Metal Merchant. I went to go buy them, and it's all sold out on Metal Blade. Well, he's got them all. He's got all the King Diamond reissues. So, but get them quick because I think there was only 200-300 made. The colored vinyl type.
Yeah, there's so many different versions of it, but there's the European store got their own version. The US has got their own version. There's plenty to be out right now. But,
his prices are very competitive. They're much cheaper than Metal Blade, that's for sure.
Yeah, I bought from him a few times too, but very good store. I do approve of that one. But yeah, go check them out. Actually, I bought. I didn't buy from him. I probably should have. But the other Merciful Fate reissues too. The first 3 albums, I bought all those.
I got that first album, the first EP on picture disc. The Nuns Have No Fun EP.
Yeah. No, but they reissued that now too. The new one.
Yeah, but not on picture disc, right?
No, it's just like the original vinyl.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't buy any of those picture discs. I don't know.
No, I bought it to put it on my wall. Picture discs are meant to be seen, not heard.
Yeah, I got no more room in here. My walls.
Wall. I don't know if you. Yeah, you probably can't make it out. My whole wall of picture discs.
Nice, cool. All right, so now we're talking about albums. Lisa, where can people buy your album, your White Crone album?
Well, yes. Oh, here. It is White Crone, The Poisoner. And you can find it on Bandcamp, White Crone, CRONE, at .bandcamp.com. So find it on Bandcamp, and it's not available on vinyl because it's too long. It's too long to put on vinyl and have good quality. So this is, you could download this digitally, but it really is, King Diamond albums are kind of the same way. They got a lot of intros and stuff. I got a couple intros in here. If you buy it on CD, you're going to get the audio quality experience. So
it's very good.
Order a CD today.
It's in my CD wall over there. I have it. And it's autographed, so you can also have it autographed. You're still autographing them, right?
Oh, absolutely. And for the month of May, I'm throwing in a free patch for every CD. If you order the physical copy, I'll send you a patch too.
Awesome.
Very cool. Awesome.
Cool.
Everybody, please go buy that album and help Lisa out.
Yeah. Help me.
And check out your website. Yeah.
Yeah, whitecrone.com. I'm on Facebook. Check out the YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel too. Hello. Where's the subscribe button? It's like down here somewhere.
I don't really put one, but it's down there somewhere. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't watched the show before, we are on podcasts and YouTube and on BitChute. Sometimes, if it ever uploads there. BitChute. BitChute.
Yeah. Sounds German.
It probably is. It's a very popular thing because people don't like YouTube and how they just censor everything.
Man, they fucked me over recently.
Yeah, over at BitChute, they don't do anything. So, tell us about your documentary, Ralph. You did the Dio thing, which was very popular, by the way. 700 views, like in the first hour.
Really? I think it's up to like 5,000 now. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. Because of the quarantine, what else do I have to do at home? I've done documentaries before, but I do them I work like half hour a day on them, and it takes me like a month to finish it. This shit I did in 3 days because I got nowhere to go. But yeah, it's gotten a lot of great feedback. There was only one. I only got one negative one, saying, "Oh, you know what, man? You shouldn't have put the hospital footage because it made me depressed. I like the rest, but that made me depressed." I'm like, well, I guess that's negative in a good way. But yeah, it came out really great. I'm very happy with it. But I had to re-render it because they blocked it for the studio version of We Rock. So I put the live version and it passed. It's like, man, and to do stuff like that takes like seriously 6 to 8 hours to redo everything.
Yeah, because you got to redo
one little song. It's ridiculous, but it passed. So I put it up on the anniversary of when he died.
Right on.
The 10th anniversary, and it's done really, really good. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from it. From Letta Leone, who's was Chastain. She fucking loved it, and a lot of people like wrote me saying how much they appreciate it, and a lot of people were like, "You made me cry, man."
Well, it's a sad story.
Yeah.
But very cool. And where can people see that, Ralph?
On Almost Human, and Wayne and Greg, you're both in the credits. I don't know if you noticed that.
We are? No, I did not.
Yeah, if you look,
I have not had the time to watch
Greg
lately, so I will.
I'm gonna watch it tonight, actually, when we're done with this. But yeah, I haven't had the chance either.
Get Kleenex.
Indeed, I will.
Amen to that.
And Rat Salad Review. I put you all in the credit, man.
Awesome. We love
Thanks,
you,
man.
We love you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and we love you too, Lisa. And thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me, man. Gotta love King Diamond.
That's right.
Gotta love
Thanks
King
for coming back, Lisa.
Yeah. Will you be back again?
Oh, yeah, hell, ask me anytime.
All right.
Yeah, it gives me a chance to relive these albums, too. Like I said, it'd been a very long time since I heard this album, and I forgot how much good shit's on it. So,
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, again, thank you, everybody, for watching. Go to ratsaladreview.com. Please buy one of our shirts. We could use the sales.
Right on.
All right. See you guys next time. Toodaloo. Bye.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, and before we go, I just want to say hello to Tony Morgan. Yes. Me and Greg, you know him. He's a very big fan of the show. And please go check out his Facebook page, Stories from Hell. It's a King Diamond fan page. And has a lot of pictures and a lot of stories and even, his own collection and stuff like that. So please go give him a like on his page. And thank you, Tony, for watching the show. Really appreciate it. And we'll have him on the show as well for one of the episodes or two.
Indeed.
Episodes.
And just not your average fan page. It's not all just the Family Ghost video reposted 100 times. He's got some pictures of some really cool stuff on there. Magazine articles I didn't know existed, different memorabilia, pretty cool marquee from a couple of years ago where King played the night following Willie Nelson. It's very interesting to see Willie Nelson and then King Diamond on a marquee.
Yeah, he's got some cool shit over there. So please, everybody, give his Facebook page a follow and a like. Stories from Hell on Facebook. All right. See you guys next week. Next time. Bye. We are now on to the eye.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. All right. So that album has got a different sound from all his other albums, especially with the drum sound. And I always want to know for years, because I always heard different stories about the drums. Is that actually you playing the drums?
It's actually me playing the drums on pads. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I've been I mean, I'm the one who sort of had a slip of the tongue there, like when I was doing an interview in '93 with Metal Maniacs. You remember that magazine and stuff? And I said some stupid shit there. But anyway, the thing is that King wanted to have it like that because they had some weird excuse that, okay, we won't have time to practice with the band before going to the studio. And I was like 21 years old, and what was I supposed to do? And I said, why? I mean, so am I going to play on pads? Why is that? You know?
Yeah.
And what choice did I have? Fuck you, I quit. Should I say that? Okay, but they kind of sold me the idea. They said that everybody's using that. This is the new technology. Everybody uses something called Fairlight. And then you play into a digital, whatever it is, like in the computer, and it makes it easier that way. And Manowar is using that. Queenstrike is using that. Def Leppard is using that. All those bands. So, okay, let's give it a try. But I mean, to me, I'm kind of old school in that sense. I like Buddy and Ian Pace and all that. So I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
But it was a good experiment, I suppose. You know.
Yeah.
But I kind of disliked that thing because, I mean, at that point, I've been playing drums for 8 years or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? I mean, this is what I sacrificed and spent my entire fucking youth practicing. Now it's like on some pads, you know.
Right.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I gotta say that right there at that point, I was like, I kind of lost interest with drums, you know.
Really?
Yeah, because of that. Because okay, this is all it's worth, you know.
Yeah, and if that's going to be the new drum thing and going to take over the world, why would you want to play on that, you know?
Yeah, but the first album for every guy, every musician's like their biggest dream is to make your first album, you know, and especially with internationally huge or famous band like King Diamond, cool with like good musicianship and kind of progressive and and all that, and I was very disappointed, I gotta say.
Yeah. Did you find it hard to learn how to play on the pads?
No, but it was kind of, when you're in the studio, you know that, like I mentioned, that everything's under a microscope. You know, it's a different feel to play on pads. Of course, nowadays you have those kind of things that with triggers and you have a net and some sort of microphone that picks up that. But so it bounces the right kind of way and it feels good. But in 1990, you didn't really have that. It felt more like playing on I don't know, on your table or whatever, like very stiff and all that. But, one thing I learned, you gotta be flexible and try to do the best of the situation instead of being hung up on a lot of crap, so. And it's King's band. I mean, he's in charge. He, if that's what he wants, what can I say? I mean,
exactly.
I put myself in the back seat and be your henchman or whatever, Yeah, but same with Merciful Fate. Like, okay, but you wrote the songs, and I can come up with a lot of ideas and show it to you, and he usually like, okay, we can have it like that in the beginning, and there you go with the drive cymbal and maybe do a little bit of tom there, yeah. So yeah, it's you're collaborating, you're working together to get the best result, of course. So you gotta swallow your pride, Right. It's not like, don't touch my thing. I mean, you wrote the songs the same way I am. I mean, I'm probably 10 times worse though, but yeah, but when I write my music, it's like I don't give free hands to people to just do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, but look at those cool arpeggios, but they don't belong here. Start your. But I'm just talking a lot of shit here, so yeah.
Is there any song on that album that you didn't really care for playing, or did it give you any issues, because you were doing with the pads instead of the real acoustic kit?
What do you mean if we give you any issues?
Like because you weren't used to playing on the drum pad, so like, I don't know. Was there any song that you just didn't feel like maybe you could have did a little bit better on maybe?
Yeah, but I feel looking back on it that I could have. We were on this for about 2 weeks because they made it sound like, oh, it's going to be so easy, it's going to be so cool, and then we can just cut and blah 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 do this in the studio. But in retrospect, I mean, I would have done it in like a third of the time on real drums, no problem. But I figure also that King, no shame or shadow on him or anything like that, but Mickey is a very strong guy, like very full of himself, I would say. No, but so yeah, so it's not that easy to tell him what to do, and maybe King felt like they are arranging the songs and they're playing too much, and it's too much things going on. I mean, so because they arranged it like that, and then he saw the opportunity like, wow, now I have this young guy and I can probably steer him the way I want to. But then he realized that I was pretty much the same. So this was a way to control me, I suppose. Yeah, because if everything is like completely naked, in a computer under a microscope, you can sort of tell it apart, but instead of having a full band playing together and stuff, so it's kind of hard to explain pretty much. But what can I say now? No, but it felt okay. But I was just doing my service pretty much and making him feel good about it.
So are you happy or not happy with that album?
I listened to it once.
Really? Wow.
Okay.
That's actually my first King Diamond album.
Mine too.
Yeah, but I think it's probably a very good album. A lot of people consider it to be the last of the first years, the first period of King Diamond, because then it's like a hiatus for a couple of years before this Lullaby came and all that. We were supposed to be on that too, but that's another story. But anyway, but it's a good album. But I would have loved to play the drums on it in a traditional way, and I'm convinced that I would have done a good job.
Yeah, definitely.
Then personally, I would feel so much more happy about the whole thing, the whole experience. But you sort of get colored. Is that the word? No, but your own experience from a recording might be bad, but you actually did a good job. It was a tough recording, not specifically this one, but then you have a bad memory from a recording. But for the audience, like, wow, this is really great. But you cannot wash away that kind of bad experience, like you had troubles in the studio with the engineer or whatever it is. I mean, if you ask Lars Ulrich about the Black Album, for example, I mean, he was such a, he was like pushing me so hard and criticizing me, whatever, and he had probably a bad experience from that, But I mean, it's the end result that matters, because every birth of a good album must have a lot of conflicts and stuff like that, and arguing and stuff, like Kiss, Destroyers, absolute favorite.
That's
album.
What I was going to bring up.
Bob Ezrin, I mean, he was like the fucking Gestapo there, or something, like pushing the guys. And if you cannot play this, fuck off. Then I bring in some other guy. He had the full big picture of it, what he wanted to accomplish. And so it was probably tough on Ace and Peter and all that, and all of them basically. But it turned out to be a really good album, and in the end, it's the end result that matters. That's what I think. Because the album's going to last forever, ever, and your personal feelings about it. Okay, grow up.
Yeah. It was, since it was one of my first ones. A friend of mine in school told me to listen to it. He got it at one of those. Remember those 99-cent CD clubs that used to be around?
Yeah.
Yeah. He got it, and his mother didn't want him to listen to it, so he told me to get it because he knew I would like it. And it was different at the time.
Right?
What's that?
Are you talking about the Eye?
The Eye, yeah. Yeah. I found it in the store, and then I bought it, and I liked it. It was different than the metal I listened to at the time, and King's voice is really different. And then it took a while to get used to that. But and then your drumming was different because I listened to metal bands, but like with the way, like you said, with the way the drum sounds were, it was just completely different to me. And then to see all the pictures of the band, and then you're there, like the white hair, you look like somebody from Nelson or something. I'm like, what is this? Completely different from the rest of the band. I'm like, all right, but
I definitely the least poser of the guys. I mean, just look at Abigail and that. They could be poison.
The fucking eye patch.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the perfect combination, I gotta say, because I reacted to that when it came out. It was like in '87 or something like that. You see, all the guys, they could be, Warrant or Poison or whatever, but then you had Dracula on vocals. I gotta say, you're from Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, well, Jersey originally, but
okay, but I remember. We a lot of times when we were out touring on the Conspiracy Tour, people were, that is so typical American, I gotta say that. Why, are you guys in a band or something? I mean, it's that typical question. And they saw us with long hair and all that. And this guy who was like working at the hotel somehow, and he's like, who's that? And pointing at King. Yeah, but that's King. But you should fire him. He doesn't fit in. Yeah, but he's the main guy. He's the reason we're. Yeah, but it doesn't.
That's funny.
Like
you need to see him in the whole package. You can't just see him on the streets.
No, but that's so cool, really. Because that combination was really good. Because a lot of the audience, I think, they were impressed by the musicianship of the band. It was good musicians and all that, and kind of technical and progressive music. And then you had King's vocals. A lot of the people were maybe not so much into that kind of high-pitched falsetto and the ghost stories. But then you had the other side who were only into that and didn't care so much about the musicians, maybe, So it's a good package for something for everyone, I suppose,
Yeah.
Even for girls, because, I mean, if it would be 5 King Diamonds, like maybe that would be a bit
Might as well be Ghost.
Yeah.
So, speaking of ghosts, did you have any like ghostly things happen? Because he always talks about all these ghost stories and things like that. Did you ever experience any of that stuff?
I'm sitting right here in my kitchen right now, and the only actual thing that I can remember on the top of my head here is when I was doing a session job for some guys who was like really nagging me to do it, to sing some songs, and I didn't really want to do it, but I needed the fucking money, so I did it. I recorded 3 vocals for 3 songs, and he said, "Oh, but this sounds really crappy. It's gonna be so good. I'm the main producer of this studio and all that." And when I actually heard the final result, it's like, wow, an album. It was just a lot of religious messages. It was like kind of power metal, but not as good as Striper. but you see that it was like all those religious messages, and I was like, I just expressed myself like, fuck that Jesus shit, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the bathroom door here in my kitchen, it just and I got like goosebumps all over. What the fuck was that? It was like the dogs are lying there, my wife is sitting there, the windows closed, and no draft or anything like that. It was like, what the fuck was that? I was cursing. So I was like, it got me to rethink about.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Religious. I was like cursing. Oh, what the fuck is this Christian crap? I was saying it, and the door stuff like that. What? Yeah, there was no logical explanation that could have happened. That is sort of like the weirdest ghost thing that I've discovered or experienced. Yeah.
So nothing with when you were with King at all? Doing the Eye or even on the Conspiracy Tour?
Not really. I mean, that's his department. But I mean, I guess people are like my wife. She's very spiritual, for example. I mean, we were sleeping, and she was like, well, "Why is Snowy standing up?" But it was my dad's dad, who was like, who's like, who is she?
Right.
So I am so stressed and so working so much and all that. So I hate to say it, but I'm not that spiritual or open to that kind of thing because I'm too
focused on everything else. Yeah.
But she is so much more spiritual and talk with the dogs and actually have communicating with them and all that. But yeah, so I believe in that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, I'm too stressed up, I guess. Maybe I'll get better when I get older and slow down a little bit. Yeah.
All right, you got anything for the eye, Greg?
Well, it was the first King Diamond album I had, too. Funny thing is, before that, I had only heard Merciful Fate Black Funeral on the Metal Massacre.
Oh, that's interesting. Cool.
Yeah, and then I got the EP and what's the first song? Doomed by the Living Dead. That song blew me away because, it was so progressive but heavy, and it fit kind of right in with the new wave of British heavy metal stuff I liked a lot.
Yeah,
but you could sing along with the chorus, so that was pretty badass.
That's what I think was very good with Merciful Fate. They had this kind of thin list. Yeah, it's kind of poppy, And same thing with Diamond. If you listen to the first album, especially, it's a mix of those more epic, weird songs like. What are they called? I don't know. The Candle and the Joke and all that. Yeah, and then you have like Dressed in White. It's like UFO, Doctor, but with his vocals, he can sing on anything. Then it becomes King Diamond. It doesn't matter because he's so exceptional in his character and his voice and all that.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I always really liked about the Eye. It had a cool story, and it's funny Wayne mentions the picture. He said something about hair metal. When I first got that, I was 13 and I was stoned. I thought you were a ghost at first. I'm like, nah, man, that's not a real guy.
That's not a real guy.
It's like, I'm telling you, it's a ghost story, blah, blah, blah. They're like, shut up.
I never heard that one before.
Yeah, well,
did you ever get the Nelson comparison?
Or what?
Did you ever get the Nelson comparison?
Over the years, maybe I've heard it twice.
Not now, but back in the day.
Of course, not now because nobody knows today or about back then.
Not a person.
No, but the difference is that I am naturally blonde compared to a lot of other guys.
Oh, yeah. And I guess because I'm not a drummer, the drum sound didn't really bother me at first. I've always really enjoyed your playing on that record. It always bothered me. It was quieter than everything else. I just never knew why until recently.
What do you mean it was more quiet? You mean in the drums or in general, you mean overall?
No, the production of the album is fine, actually, and you can hear everything okay, but and I guess it's a result of maybe it being computer as opposed to acoustic, and I don't know if reverb is the right word, but it's almost as if hitting the head of the drum and it's wet. It sounds kind of flat.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at production-wise, I mean, when I did my last album here, my latest album, I was like really, really fighting with the guys I was working with different because this is actually a collection of different albums that I'm going to make. So these are sort of excerpts or whatever you call it, like
I really enjoy March of Black Doors.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, but it's from different albums. So I was working with different mixing in different studios and all that, and it was really, really complicated because I mean, I want to recreate what I hear in my head the way it is, and a lot of the people nowadays, but this is not industry standard. They say, okay, let me write that down. Do I give a fuck? No, but what do you mean standard? Do you think that my job as a musician, as a songwriter, and all that, is to provide what people expect from you. What's how it's supposed to sound nowadays. I mean, you can see trends come and go. If I listen to an album here, okay, around 85 to 87, that kind of snare sound was very popular back then. And you can actually see what era it comes from, because there are a lot of different fashions and ideals going on there. But I don't give a shit about that. When I was doing this album, it was like, I went to Studio Fredman, for example, and we were mixing this song Krampus as a first test song, 2016. And I actually called him. He had made a great reputation for himself all over the world as creator or inventor of Gothenburg death metal sound with In Flames and all those bands. But anyway, and I called him specifically to say, I'm not interested in that kind of sound. I'm interested in mixing with you because you have good ears. So when I got there, I said, open Spotify, and then you open Rainbow Rising and Kiss Destroyer. And both those albums came out in 1976, so they were actually 40 years old. But that's what I had as a reference. I want a big sound, like details and different levels. So not everything right in your face. I want a big, open, sort of organic sound, And he was saying, but that is not fashionable. Yeah, but I don't give a fuck what's fashionable. I'm doing this to please myself,
Yeah.
I cannot. Oh yeah, but this is what people expect now. Yeah, but I don't care.
Well, at some point, people are going to get sick of that, and then they're going to want like the stuff that you create.
Yeah, but that's what you see happen now. Because I mean, if we're talking about recordings, when it comes to drums, for example, since the 80s maybe, or okay, you can quantize everything and you can trigger everything and you can polish and compress everything so it doesn't sound like real drums. And it's so much focus on the bass drum and the snare. Wow, I cannot hear the overhead. I cannot hear the hi-hat or the ride cymbal and all that. Yeah, but that's the way it's supposed to be now. If that's your disco who had an influence on metal, that's fine. If you Rammstein, but because that is so march, that, supposed to dance to that, maybe, I don't know, but you're not supposed to dance to Fate, I suppose. No. So why should I apply that kind of sound? And a lot of the people that I've been working with, I mean, it's in this metal world kind of, and they're like, wow, we're gonna have this, like modern sound that it sounds like Painkiller and Pantera and stuff. What do you mean modern? That's fucking 30 years ago.
Exactly, yeah.
True, yeah.
Everything goes in cycles. If you listen to Greta von Fleet, for example, you see things coming back, like the younger kids, wow, we want to sound like the Doors or Janis Joplin and have it natural and kind of not crappy sounding, but kind of vintage sounding, instead of having wall of Marshalls and compressed drums that are just very fat and all that. But it's done so much that if you cannot tell the difference between different bands, except for maybe his vocal sounds a little bit different than that guy, I mean, then you have lost it all. I think what I like about old bands is that they actually went into the studio all together. They had rehearsed. They had been out playing those songs. And they did 3 takes or something, and then they picked the best one. Okay, I fucked it up a little bit there on the chorus, whatever. Yeah, but look at the big picture. Nobody's care about the details. If you're so picky about those tiny details, maybe the song is not good enough. Try to see the song. Yeah. So I had to invent all those kind of mottos when we were in the studio, like perfection is a definition. But just because you can see on a screen that, that is not completely in time, the bass with the bass drum. Yeah, but I can't tell if I listen to it. Turn off the fucking screen. It's just like, it's just thinner. Is it any good? Let's listen to it. No, but that's not what you do. You cannot look at music. It's all in a frame, Right. You're supposed to listen to it, Exactly. If it doesn't bother me, I mean, I don't want I'm not going to pay you for removing all those little glitches and whatever the fuck it is, because that adds to the whole atmosphere. If you listen to isolated files from Queen, Killer Queen, for example, Brian May's guitar, it's like, what? Someone's calling you, in and all that. And it's actually on the album. So that adds to the whole atmosphere. And same with, like, Richard Blackmore's guitar on Highway Star, for example. Yeah, it's like, it's like some mistakes because they're playing together. That's how music is created. Yeah, but it's not the right BPM all the way through. Oh, fuck! Someone's going to sit there with a metronome and they were speeding up a little. That's not music.
Well, maybe if it was Zappa.
Yeah, but I mean, there are. Yeah, I think it's so weird. So I've been like completely against the grain with all that and say, fuck that. It doesn't bother me. It's too clean, more noisy and all that, more open and more lively or whatever you say.
Yeah, it sounds more realistic.
Well, people. It's not going to make anything perfect, like there are always flaws and but it's how you save it or how you can actually, keep playing and all that. So, well, what's wrong with being human?
Exactly. And that's what people lost.
Well, and that's one of the examples I always like to use, Snowy, especially with drummers, is an Iron Maiden, Clive Burr and Nico McBrien. Yeah. Nico McBrien is a great drummer, and he's so much technically better, but I always enjoyed Clive more just because, there might be errors that were left in, but the power he played with and the passion and the attitude was just unmatched. I'd rather hear something more human like that, like an Ian Pace style, than something highly structured, which is probably why I never got that in a rush.
Yeah, but I want to be able to tell the difference between different musicians. If you have a strong sort of signature style, like Ace Frehley, I mean, he talks the way he walks. Actually, his vibrato is like, it's like, what is that? And he's kind of lazy, sort of laid back. That's his whole personality, and it comes through. It's not fake in any way. And I want to be able to tell the difference between Leonard Hayes and John Bonham, for example, even though you were inspired by that. But I want to hear the personality and the person. I mean, it's got to be. You got to be able. I mean, it doesn't matter if you paint a picture, you make a poem, or you write a song. I think you should leave something from yourself in it. Otherwise, it's like just a formula or something. You try to please people. You got to be able to show yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just listen to the isolated vocals of "Running with the Devil" with David Roth. It's on YouTube, and it's like, wow! He's just going out, and it's like completely crazy. And it's, everything is kept like that. I mean, that's what you hear on the album. It's so, just go with the flow and have a good time, really.
Yeah, that's how music should be. I'm glad you said that, because that's how I feel about my own stuff. Because my guitar player tries to get things like kind of perfect sometimes. I'm like, dude, it sounds so much better if things aren't always on time. It just sounds more realistic.
Yeah, but I've been going through that. I was doing something doing my own music in 2006 or something. I went to mix it with Mike Weed, and I was like, that was after I quit Dream Evil. So I took my songs with me and pretty much said, "Fuck you, I'm leaving and I'm taking my songs with me." And I was like trying to do that, and I was trying to apply this new kind of thing where you play a riff and then you loop it and all that. So you just do it once and then it's like 34 times, whatever. And when after we mixed that the whole thing and it came out compressed and all that, it's like I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but all I could say is that when I wrote this, I thought it was a good song and all that, but now it goes in here and out here. It doesn't touch me in any way. It doesn't move me in any way. It's just flat and correct and synthetic and stiff and square and boring and all that. So I figured that I would never do that again. I'd just do one fucking take and leave it like that with the small mistakes and flaws in. Because so what? I'm not perfect. But right. It has that energy and that sort of passion in it, and that can never be replaced by perfection. What's perfection? I mean, I don't understand.
I don't get it.
I think Sex Pistols, never mind the bollocks, that's perfection. And then you say, yeah, but if Jeff Porcaro, I guess it would be better if he played the drums to Stuart Copeland because he's more correct. Yeah, but then it would be punk, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Man, Johnny Rotten singing "Hold the Line" would be something, though.
Yeah, but that's what you want. I mean, what is the thing that I like about the old Alice Cooper band, for instance? It's because they are so crappy musicians,
right?
And and same thing with the Stooges, Iggy Pop and the Stooges. Because they are playing the best they can, and it sounds like they've been sniffing thinner or paint removers. some fucking junkies doing the best they can with a lot of passion and energy, and that's what they caught on tape, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what you hear. Perfection has nothing to do with it, I guess.
No, exactly. Good.
Oh yeah, and Motley Crue's a good example of that too. I mean, I know they're more glam type stuff, but their first album, Too Fast for Love, there's mistakes all over the place, but it's raw, it's heavy, and they really believed in it.
Yeah, but it's more like a crappy demo type of tape. I think it sounds like that, and
a little bit.
But that's what people wanted, but in Motley Crue's case, I got to say that. Because they looked so cool and all that, and they were Nicky Six was so driven and all that. So I think "Shout at the Devil" has a wonderful sound, and that is what you should try to recreate. Because the drums, it's so open, and he's playing so good and all that. That's what.
Oh yeah.
But what's wrong? Basically, what's wrong with showing who you are and have your own sound? I mean, a lot of people when they want me to do drums on their album or something like that. Oh, you should bring that snare drum, that has your sound. It doesn't matter what snare drum it is. It's me, how I play it,
Right.
People but people ask, what kind of drum heads do you have? I don't know, a white one usually, I'm not so interested in products. People are saying, oh, do you have like a 12 and a 13? I don't know. That one is slightly bigger than that one on the to the left. I'm not so picky about that stuff.
I do like your drum kit though. Sometimes you got the two bass drums, and you got the one tom in the middle. You got the weirdest setup. you put your kick drums like flat, like straight ahead. Like how the hell do you play like that?
You know why I did that? Because that was a thing back then. Nowadays I only have one kick with a double pedal. Basically, even though I have like 2 kicks, but that is just for videos and shit. Anyway, Mick Tucker from Sweet, he's one of my favorite drummers. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he had it kind of completely straightforward like that. So that's why I put it.
Okay.
And I also had like 2 floor toms on each side. I wanted it to be symmetrical, like 1 chine on each side and 2 floor toms there, 1 rack tom, two on my left side. But I could never play on the left side, so I put some beers and a towel.
That's too funny.
But a lot of the times, I mean, it's just for show. I don't know if you've seen this Tomori video. People to this day still talk about that because I had the bass drum instead of. How can I show this? I have my snooze here. Instead of having it straight forward like that, I turn it like that. 1 leg on each side. People look really crazy. Did you play like that? No, that was just for the video, of course. It looked funny or cool. But at the end of the day, we're in showbiz, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So that's what you have to do. The show must go on.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
So what else about King Diamond and Merciful Fate?
We got sidetracked there a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
What?